Welcome back. I'm Jaded Nerd. I kind of wanted to talk about a couple of things that happened the last week or so, and it highlights two things that I've been really wanted to speak about the past, I'm going to say month or so. One of the things I wanted to bring up was why do we need the arts? And then the other thing that I kind of want to tie into this and maybe make this a dual video is the opinion of public school versus privatized charter schools. And is there a need for it? There was an incident or a situation, or actually something very good and positive that happened, where a 10th grader from Eastern Senior High School in DC here won the Doodle for Google contest, mural contest, to, what is it, that she identifies with. And she said that my goal with my art was to not only turn heads, but souls as well. Not only for someone to see it and be amazed by it, but also to have them understand and connect with it. So I kind of want to highlight what I want to talk about with that quote, beautifully eloquent quote. What I kind of want to point out is, there was a push back in 2001 when President George H. Bush did the No Child Left Behind Act. And it was an effort to offer parents and students choices over public schools who were facing a shortfall in performance. There was funding, but performance was not consistent, especially with the lower income areas, with some of the more affluent, public school systems that were performing at a better and a higher level. So this initiative was presented by the Bush administration to curtail and level the playing field in their words and in their view to offer options and choices so that kids, students, and parents would have access to quality education at their choice, at their discretion. I wanted to just kind of refute it because I feel and I believe I went to public schools, and a lot of my contemporaries and a lot of people that I admire and that I emulate are products of public education, public schools. Once they got into the path of secondary education and college and however they chose to pursue their degrees, doctorate is a different story, but they all have roots with public education, public school, something that's offered to everyone. So when I kind of looked back in history and looked at the initiative and the energy that was put behind No Child Left Behind, the language within that kind of gets me, first of all, because yes, you were thinking of children, but the education system services more than just little children or small children or pre-adolescent children. There are pre-adolescents, teens, young adults, and there's a gamut in between. So I think one of the failings in that initiative was the language itself. It should be no one left behind, no student, not no child. But anyway, I could talk about that on a different day. I want to celebrate this 10th grader and I want to celebrate her accomplishment and I want to celebrate how someone from Washington, D.C., public school, can be lauded and celebrated for talent and ability and creativity, qualities that we don't hear a lot about in the news. It's not news worthy by networks and it isn't entertaining enough. It's not sensationalized enough for us to continuously talk about education or positive or when someone does something great. But I must admit, it was extremely gratifying. And even though I went to a rival high school, I'm a Woodson Warrior. But seeing someone from DC, seeing someone from public school, someone that went to school in close to the same area that I did, probably lives or lived in the same area that I have or live now, seeing that banner every time I would log into Google yesterday, every time I would do a search, seeing that banner, seeing that representation, seeing the beauty, how she was honoring her African heritage and her Afrocentric roots. It was beautiful. It wasn't to disparage or to ignore any other race or any other nationality or anything of that nature. It was just a declaration of this is who I am as an individual, and I'm going to share it. And we can all appreciate the beauty in that. So, hats off to the young lady, and hats off to everyone that was involved, everyone that's been in her life, the people that motivated her, the people that encouraged her, that fed that need to express herself through the arts. And I'm going to touch on that at the end of this video. It's not going to be long, but I wanted to speak on this because it gave me pride. It made me feel great to know that someone that is a product of the DC public school system, which has had its share of adversity, controversy, and there's a history of just underperformance, underachieving, mismanagement, etc. But this was amazing, and nothing should take away from her accomplishment. This 10th grader at Easter Senior High School, and I'm going to look here on my phone very quickly because I want to make sure I give her her honor. Akilah Johnson, because I didn't get a chance to say her name. But Akilah Johnson, I want to say thank you for representing. Thank you for putting us there, putting us out there, and letting people know and see that there is validity and that there is purpose within the public school system. And I just really, really appreciate your contribution to the culture, and I appreciate your contribution to society. And just, I really appreciate you. So I want to talk about how I feel about charter schools versus public schools. As you can kind of tell, I'm a product of public schools. I believe in them. I believe that with the proper funding and oversight, I believe that results can improve. I think that when you're looking at situations like public schools and test scores, test results, math and science, reading, things of those natures, when you're looking at that and those metrics, and you're only looking at the metrics and not taking into the other mitigating circumstances that tie into that. Is it a low income area? Is it impoverished? Is it not an impoverished area? Is there crime? Things of that nature. Like, what other distractions, what other factors are in this equation so that we get to this point where we can say, well, these students perform this way. And the answer isn't always to ship someone away or take them from their environment and ship them somewhere else or have them go to a different district or a different building or a chartered school somewhere else. The problem, as I see it, is there is a poor, impoverished area, and there is a population of students within that area who may be underperforming. And I see it as an opportunity to improve that area, improve the lifestyle, improve the quality of life. Go into the system, go into the area, go into the neighborhood, go into the city, go where the people are. Find out, is there crime? Is there high unemployment? Like, what other issues are facing this community? And then have a holistic approach to it. Yes, you would like to have accountability by educators and teachers for performance. Yes, you would like to see math and science scores go up and improve. You would like to see the aptitude of the students improve and the ability to take tests and comprehend and perform at a national level. You would like to see that improve. But if you're worried about what you're going to eat in the morning, it's hard to really focus on school. Or if you're worried about, are they going to shoot around the corner at 4 o'clock in the afternoon? It's really difficult to focus on your education. Or if you're worrying about, are they going to jump me because I'm trying to do an education? Or are they going to rob me because I'm wearing these shoes? Not excuses, because people have pulled themselves out of those situations. But as a whole, we can see the results once you have situations that these factors plus a lagging system or lagging school system, wherever it may be, it can just contribute to underperformance by students and teachers. So when he came up with this idea of No Child Left Behind, and you can choose, a better option somewhere else, okay, and that's great for people in DC. You want to send your kid uptown, you want to send your kid up near Georgetown, you want to send them to a charter school somewhere else. That's fine, and that is your prerogative. But what happens is we're leaving behind areas, neighborhoods, and communities, districts, sections, zones that were impoverished and needed help to begin with. And then we're creating and we're instilling a mindset within the younger people in that community that says, no, you don't stay here and fix this and work with this. You leave. You see something that doesn't work and then you go somewhere else. You find something better. You find something with more of an allure than your surrounding. There has not been an instillment that says you work within your community. You work within your space. You need to get it right where you are before you branch out and go somewhere else. So rather than, monies being used to, send kids to this place or that place or this bus or that van or that, perhaps the money could go into helping the area, helping the neighborhood, helping that community, helping that with a food bank, a community garden, teaching people how to eat better, teaching people how to save their money, helping the crime go down by giving people options. Helping to fight unemployment with not just jobs but quality jobs. And as a result, you would see that you would have stable parents, you would have stable elders, you would have stable adults who would then be stable examples for adolescents and young adults, and then they will be examples for children and kids and babies, and that is when you will see test scores go up, because it isn't just the kid that is focusing on doing better in school. The mother and the father are doing better in life, the community is doing better. There is a sense of accomplishment and a sense of we need to do better. So perhaps investing in not only monetary forms of education, invest in the family of the student, invest in the community, because they have to return to where they live. They have to return to these areas, these neighborhoods, and if they are swimming, and then the overwhelming majority of everyone is going backwards, and they're coming this way. You're going this way, right? You're going this way, singular, alone. It is incredibly daunting to try to do that, and you wonder why test scores don't go up. That is the last thing on some people's mind when they're worrying about survival day to day, or violence day to day, or just the curse and the weight of poverty. Because poverty is a disease as well. And many of us are afflicted. And even once we move away from the neighborhood or the city or the state, or what the aesthetic view of poverty, poverty is within us. It is instilled within us. And even in our thinking, and what we are willing to do and be afraid to do, or have the initiative to jump out there and do, is compromised, because you always have that mind, and that voice in the back of your mind that says, you're not good enough. You've always been poor. Your area has always been poor. It's always been this. It's always been that. But if you can give someone something to pull back and look through in their mind and say, well, you know what? It was messed up, but my mother got her GED, or but my father got that second certification, or he was able to get that loan, start that business, or my uncle was able to open up that second boxing gym. Like, there are things that we can look at and that we can do and we can perform now. So that way, when our kids or their kids are out and they're second, third generation removed, they'll be thinking about you in a legacy, but as a positive legacy. It isn't a legacy of, oh, well, let me hand this Section 8 down, or let me teach them how to go through the process to get TANF and SNAP. If you need those benefits, you need those benefits. But I feel that we will pass that legacy down rather than a legacy of education, rather than a legacy of fiscal responsibility. So charter schools are not the answer. Public schools can work. Public schools is what you put into them. If you have a student body that is engaged because their parents are engaged, because the teachers are engaged, because their families are engaged, it's about engagement. It isn't about the response. They're putting so much responsibility on the child, the student. But it takes more than just the student to create a success story. And it happens all the time. So I refute that argument or that sentiment that says you have to leave your situation to make it better. You might be called out to make your situation better where you are. We run away from adversity. We run away from the tough things too often. So I would encourage you, don't turn your back on education, public education. Don't turn your back on homeschooling. You do not have to go the privatized route. And then when you're looking at how things are spent and money is allocated, they cut the arts. You look at this young lady who presented this beautiful work of art. It's the arts. Without the arts, there would not have been an avenue for her to channel that, and it wouldn't have been on Google. It would not have inspired the many people that it did. All right, you think I'm being a little bit artsy. All right, what about y'all that like hip hop? And what about y'all that enjoy like Kendrick Lamar, like people that like real MCs? Or if you want to go old school like me and like Rakim and Eric B and all them, that's the arts. Even though it's rap, hip hop, lyrics and things of that nature, it's still music. It's still the arts. You are still moved by that. You have been changed by that. Your mindset is affected by that. Even the so-called knuckleheads, when they're listening to their music on the metro, the bus, and they're walking out and they're walking down the street, you're being influenced by the arts and don't even know it. You watch a favorite movie of yours, if it motivates you, or if there's that song that got you out of bed because you were in a deep depression, you can thank the arts. This is why we need the arts. The arts are what drive humanity. The arts, it is the air in the lungs of humanity. It is what helps us breathe. So when you have something where there's a song, there's a poem, there's a movie, there's a show, these are all avenues for you to express, vent, and convey how you feel, how you want to feel. So it isn't just, oh, well, it's, people that do ballet and people that want to sing opera. The arts are the arts. And the arts fall under dance, whether it's twerk, whether it's ballet, hip hop, crunk, I guess twerking to an extent. The arts is music. The arts is rap, hip hop, pop, jazz, blues, instruments, producing, acting, directing, anything that made you feel better. All those funny videos that y'all like to share and those funny Vine clips and the people that put that stuff together, that's the arts. Why we need the arts? Because without the arts, there is no air, there is no oxygen going into the lungs. And if you don't have air and oxygen going into your lungs, you die. So without the arts, humanity dies. That's what I got for you. I'm extremely proud of Akilah Johnson. I am motivated by the fact that she used the arts to express her individuality and her culture. I am extremely encouraged that she's a product of the DC public school system, and just another example that shows you do not need to go the privatized route. Work on making what you have at home better before you run out there and try to fix something else. I'm Jaded Nerd. If you like the video, thumbs up, thumbs down, subscribe, share. If you have an opinion, if you want to comment, please do. I would love to hear what you think. And I will talk to you all later. All right. Remember, think critically about everything.